Hi, and welcome to an undisclosed location here in the beautiful German countryside. My name's Matt. You love it, don't you? And I've got a very special treat today. It's early, it's fresh, but I'm standing in front of a door that hides a very special Mercedes-Benz secret, which I get to test drive today. It's just great fun to drive. And you know what? You can join me on the journey. Here we go. Oh, yes. Fantastic. The MB 100, an absolute Mercedes-Benz classic. There's just no other way to put it. So this one is the 1992 model. You can tell that by the slanted radiator front, which was for passive safety. But there were loads of options. Which one did you have? Or do you still drive one today? We would love to hear your MB 100 stories and experiences. Because this is just Mercedes-Benz retro heaven. I love it. I love it. Everything in its place. There's just no need for go faster stripes or anything. It's utilitarian, but it's classic and classy at the same time. Let's take a look in the cabin here. Just the sound of opening the door. Oh. I'm sorry, that's just the sound of my childhood. It's just... You know, they have designers today in modern cars who create the mechanism so that a lock sounds a certain way. But there's just no need to fake this. This is just 1980s Mercedes-Benz class. Sliding side door, beautiful smooth mechanism. And then we're inside, and it's just tons of space. 3, 5, 7, 9 seats in total if you had it like a bus here. Again, it's minimalistic. You can see the metal on the side, you can see the working parts, but it kind of does both jobs, you know? It's familiar and family, but at the same time, it gets the job done and it's industrial. I'm such a fan. I love it. Let's take a look inside. So you can get through to the driver's seat from the back here. And if I wind down the classic window, why don't you come in here and see what I can see? So, when you get inside, I think it's fair to say that the first reaction is that it's quite sparse. You know, what you need is what you get and not much more. But it's a really classy, simple design. The one thing that would really interest me is just that orchestra of sound effects you get from a car of this period. So let's check these out. I mean, it's so evocative, isn't it? It just immediately catapults you back. You know, when you turn that switch, you know when it's on and you know when it's off. It's very binary, isn't it? Some things just don't need any commentary, do they? I like this as well, sort of this handle as you're climbing in. It's quite a job to get in. You're stepping over the front axis. So as you do so, you can help yourself with this. And a feature I think that I absolutely have to mention is right here in the middle of us. So between the passenger and the driver is, and there's no other way to put this, the engine. Surrounded by, I guess, just a little bit of insulation and plastic. The motor is right between us, which could mean that it might be loud. We're going to test that when we drive in a moment, and I just can't wait to give it a spin. So let's do that. I've got to be really honest, it is so much fun to drive. You've got a real feeling of height. You're lording over the rest of the traffic, and it's more of a feeling of, and maybe that's because of the sort of flattened steering wheel that is tilted away from you. It's more of a feeling of driving a truck than a van. The gearbox is, shall we say, a challenge. The gear stick's quite a long way away, and it's a bit hit and miss whether you get into first or third sometimes, but I suppose that's part of the fun, isn't it? So there's one other little feature that I quite like, and it comes about because we're sitting directly over the front axis. And that means that the window here can't be wound all the way down, but to give the driver the opportunity to put their arm on the windowsill anyway, there's a little ledge just for that. And I can imagine that on long journeys, that would have been very pleasurable. It's just great fun to drive, it's got to be said. Oh, speaking of which, pop quiz. Do you know why it's called the MB 100? The 100 stands for 1,000 kilos, which was the approximate payload back then. Speaking of which, probably a good time to check out some of the facts and figures and the history of this extraordinary van. So, the MB 100 was produced in Vitoria, Spain between 1988 and 1995. The originals were fitted with an OM 616 2.4-litre diesel engine, and later versions even got a turbo. 130 kilometres an hour was the top speed, and that was delivered by 72 horsepower, count them. Although, in 1991, that was increased to 75 horsepower. A front-wheel drive vehicle, the engine being situated at the front, and the tubular frame design meant that you could mod the MB 100 pretty much any way that you wanted. So whether you had it as a flatbed, or as a bus, or maybe you had it as a camper van, or even a trades vehicle, the MB 100 gave you those opportunities. There were almost myriad chances to mod this. So my question to you, how did you mod your MB 100 back then? But I think that's enough facts for now. Let's get back to emotions. You love it, don't you? It's an MB 100, baby! Okay, all in all, it has just been an absolutely joyous retro experience for me. I've enjoyed every minute. I hope you have as well. I hope you learned a couple of things as well. If you're as much of an MB 100 lover as I am, then let us know. Send us some photos of the vans that you used to drive, or maybe you've still got them today. We'd love to get into the conversation with you over all the normal social media channels. Send us some photos, or maybe even a video or two. Comment, of course, like, subscribe to this channel, because we want to stay in touch and hear about your retro van experiences. But until the next time, thanks for watching and take care.